काकर सजने यार न पालन काकर सजने यार न पालन जलपत बीत मोरे उन बिन रतिया यार न पालन काकर सजने यार न पाल रोवत रोवत कल ना तड़प तड़प मरा कल ना
Namaskar, hello and welcome to my channel. Today's video has a very special styling hack specially for you ladies, just in time for the wedding season. If you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you'll find this video useful and please don't forget to subscribe for more such interesting videos on styling ideas for men and women, home decor, travel and many other informative and useful things. Today's video, as the title explains, is on how to style a sari as a Sabyasachi inspired lehenga. Now, I'm very fond of Sabyasachi. He's my favorite Indian designer, and not only because he's a Bengali. His label in fact reads Sabyasachi, Kolkata, and I feel very proud every time I see it. But I especially admire the way Sabyasachi has revolutionized the way we match our saris with our blouses. He has really demonstrated that you can wear complementary colored blouses or even complementary prints or even floral prints of a completely different color family with your saris, and surprisingly they all seem to work. In the last couple of years, quite a few Bollywood personalities have got married predictably wearing Sabyasachi lehengas and saris, and then there were sons and daughters of rich industrialists getting married, and Diwali parties, award ceremonies. There are so many events where all these big people have flaunted their finest Sabyasachi. Because I am interested in fashion, Google has sensed it, and Google keeps sending me all these photos, videos, articles containing all these images of beautiful people wearing beautiful lehengas, looking like complete princesses. It was very tempting, and at one point I almost gave in and I almost thought of buying one myself. But better sense prevailed, and I stopped myself right in time because they are super expensive, and I just couldn't justify the price for me because I don't get invited to fancy events. I'm not that important enough, and even if I am, even for the weddings or the parties where I am invited, I'd much rather wear saris. Also, these are going to be statement dresses, right? So if I once wear it to an event, then when will I get a chance to wear it next? I'm not going to wear the same dress rather to many different events. I want to have different looks for each of my events. Also, personally nowadays, since I have gotten to know about the the bad side of fashion industry and the kind of pollution it creates, I am now more interested in slow fashion. If you know me personally, or if you have been following me on Instagram, you probably know this already. Instead of mindless consumerism, mindless buying new things, I'd much rather play around with what I have, be creative, and create new looks that way. So I decided to, really reuse my saris, style them as lehengas. Now this is not a new concept. Women, girls, young girls who have neither saris or lehengas, when they're invited to wedding parties, they have been using their mother's saris as lehengas for decades. I wanted to give it a twist. I wanted to wear the sari like, the Disney fairy tale like lehenga look, which we have seen on Anushka Sharma when she got married in that gorgeous pink Sabyasachi lehenga. But I also know that only with a sari that kind of an extra volume or flair will not come, and I need something else with it. So I got hold of something which cost me very little amount of money, only 10 or 15 pounds. I bought it off Amazon, and it is completely reusable and can use it with dresses, with khagras, with a lot more other different kind of dresses to create a lot more different kind of looks. And it is this. A crinoline is a structured petticoat designed to be worn under a skirt or a dress. It has one or more stiff hoops to create a typical feminine silhouette and sometimes a few extra layers of lining to add volume. Crinolines were in fashion in 18th and 19th centuries, as you may have noticed in paintings and photographs of the bygone era. Antique crinolines would be made of ridiculous elements like whalebones and metallic cages and was a veritable fire hazard. Sometimes they also saved women from drowning, as a massive chunk of fabric acted as floating device. The one I have is thankfully a much subdued version with just a malleable metal ring along the bottom rim. If you want something less dramatic, you can also go in for tulle petticoat, which does a pretty good job too. I believe lehengas sold in India nowadays also come with layered net lining to serve the same purpose. Apparently they are called can-can, though why a lehenga part should be named after French cabaret dance is beyond my understanding. To use a sari as a lehenga, I first open out the sari from its folds completely and spread it out on a broad flat surface. A bed is a very good example, and that's what I'll be using in this video. Once the sari is spread out properly, I'm going to start from the end that is away from the pallu, and I'm going to start to make folds from that end onwards, gradually coming towards the pallu area. It's so easy to make these folds when the sari is spread out on a bed. I can easily grab the two sides and pull them towards myself to create folds of my desired width. Now, how wide you want each pleat to be depends on your personal preference. Also, it depends on your waist circumference. If you are on the smaller side, I suggest you go in for wider pleats because you won't need that much amount of fabric anyway, and vice versa if you have a bigger waist circumference. Once you reach the pallu area, just fold it in half so that it goes inside, and then carry on with the pleating. If you want the pallu to be visible on your lehenga, by all means go on with your pleats without bothering to tuck the pallu in. Now there are a few ways in which to hold the pleats in place so that it's really easy to tuck them in the waist part of your petticoat and create your lehenga. In this video I'm using safety pins to hold each pleat, so I will need quite a few of them. You can also use thread and needle and just quickly do a little bit of tailoring. You don't need any fancy stitches, but it probably is quicker to use pins even though they may damage the fabric. Also to note, if you are adept at making pleats like I am, if I ever use a sari as a lehenga, I'm not going to bother to do it this way. I will just wear the petticoat and do the pleats on my body. But this is a really easy way to do the pleats and wear it as a lehenga for beginners. And this is the pin that I'm using. They are quite small in size, so they are less likely to cause damage to my precious fabric. So this is how your sari is going to finally look like, with loads of pleats, enough to cover your waist circumference. This is the top part. You can see the pins sticking out, but don't worry, they won't be visible. You first wear your petticoat and you tuck this waist part into your petticoat at the top. Depending on how long your legs are, the fabric should ideally reach your ankle at least. the 3 looks of Sabyasachi inspired lehengas using sarees. Now mind you guys, I've only very quickly put together these 3 looks. It's Sunday evening, we have to get ready for tomorrow. It's a fresh new week and I didn't have much time. It only took me 5 minutes for each look. Also, most of my ethnic wear, sarees, dresses, tops, ornaments are in India anyway. I have very limited stock here in London. So if I could achieve these 3 looks with limited resources and also limited time, imagine the possibilities when you have your whole wardrobe as well as enough time. Hope this was useful and I really hope that you will try this out someday, maybe for a wedding or an event, and do let me know what your feedback is. I really hope that you have subscribed to my channel and I'll see you next time. Bye.